Welcome to the Disney Hour Express podcast. I'm Abbie.
And I'm Rob. We are two hopelessly romantic Disney enthusiasts,
Sharing fun stories, secret tips, and family travel experiences.
If you are a Disney newbie, or maybe a season pass holder, we hope you find this information helpful.
We turned our love of Disney into a unique boutique travel agency that books Disney and Universal vacations.
We've got a lot of stories, so cozy on up, choose your favorite drink,
Whether that be a cocktail or a hot chocolate,
and enjoy the Disney Hour Express.
I'm back. Welcome to the Disney Hour Express episode 92. I bet you guys missed me last week.
I thought, wait, when you said I'm back, I thought it was like you were like, I'm home. Like, I thought you were giving me like a Jack Torrance type thing.
Gotcha.
All work and no play makes Abbie a dull co-host.
I think that's exactly what's going on here. But actually, I don't think you guys had time to miss me because of the adorable guest host last week. Thank you to Heidi for filling in. How'd it go?
Well, you tell me. You listen to it.
The thing is, I'm so biased because I love you both so much that I thought it was just the most amazing thing I had ever heard in my life.
I think she did, especially being that I didn't talk to her about it at all. It was like I was coming upstairs and I was like, do you want to be on the podcast? And she was like, yeah.
I love it. And she just had so much to say, and that's perfect.
And believe me, there was much more that she wanted to.
That's okay. That's like a little mini me.
Telling you,
I'll take it.
I think I have a few months before it's the Abbie and Heidi hour.
No.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Yep. She can edit. She can do everything.
Anyways, we had a great week. It was Halloween all up and around. I mean, we are in the Valley of Sickness. I'm not going to lie about that. But we did manage to trick or treat like crazy. I don't think we've ever come home with so much candy.
Yes.
Honestly, like, okay. So I know like people listening are going to be like, I've gotten more candy than that. But like, each child has a gallon size full of candy that's like hard to close the bag. And to me, that is a lot of candy.
That was a lot.
They haven't even put like
a
little dent in it.
We went to a neighborhood. We went to a neighborhood where, like, as we were turning onto like the main street, like where everything started, people were getting dropped off. Like like I saw like their parents drop off like 4 high school girls in front of me to go to this street. And I was like, oh, is there like a big high school party going on or something? Nope, they were just going trick-or-treating.
It was crazy. It was all ages. And I feel like everybody kind of like knew each other or knew somebody that was in their party. So everybody was stopping and saying hello. And it was a party up in that street. And then the fire trucks came and joined the party and handed out candy. And it was so cool.
People were handing out like warm apple cider, even though it was unseasonably warm in the Northeast.
Yes,
and
it was like 80 degrees. It was crazy.
But it was a good Halloween. The kids enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it was a long Halloween season. I mean, if you think back to when I went to Mickey's Not So Scary all the way back in August to now, we've been celebrating for quite some time. Uh-oh, Rob's got a comment coming. He's got it. I see it.
Some of us have been trying to fill the hole of that.
I understand. I'm so sorry.
So
next time, babe. Next time.
This is a good time as any to tell you that me and Lando and I are going to a very Merry Christmas party.
Without me? Never.
Just the way it's supposed to be.
The problem is Lando would be so upset that he doesn't have me as a sleeping buddy.
No, he'll get over it. He'll appreciate it with all the hot chocolate and cookies. All the cookies that get dropped on the ground. He would eat all of them.
True. He'd be
right
totally
in the emergency room. Yeah.
In any case, wow, that was a crazy season for sure. And of course, in Disney fashion, they have completely stripped down Halloween and are moving quickly into Christmas.
Yeah, overnight.
Yes. So there's some parts of the park that are absolutely Christmas, some parts that do have still fall decorations, but not necessarily Halloween decorations, but they definitely go all in. It is so cool. I was telling Heidi that 9 years ago was when I brought her on her first Disney trip, and it was right at this time when they were doing the transition, and it was really cool to be there and be a part of that. So we're sad to see Halloween go, though.
I mean, yes.
I don't have as many cool Christmas decorations as I do Halloween decorations, but we do have like a kick-ass tree. Excuse my language.
Whoa. We gotta go to the adult section of the podcast now.
Sorry, please.
Look at that. Well, I beg to differ. Like I have more outdoor decorations, right? Because normally, right, you kind of handle the indoor decoration. Yes. I do outdoors. I have more outdoor stuff than I do with, just as Heidi pointed out, just our one Wednesday house blow up. So I don't know. I like we have good stuff.
Yeah. Ooh, our Halloween pumpkins have already become deer food, which was so cool. Our outdoor cameras, picked up a deer with really large antlers that
in the woods,
came on over and ate up some pumpkins. Anyways, okay, enough about us. So Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party at Magic Kingdom is going to take place starting on November 8th. That is coming up. And that's going to go from November 8th to December 20th. And it's so, some people think that it will go through Christmas week. And I just want to tell you and make sure that you know that it doesn't go through Christmas week. Now, the parades that go on at night will then be transferred to the day, and they'll be celebrating during the day, and it won't just be a special exclusive party at night.
Gotcha.
Because, everybody is traveling during that week. They want to go to Disney. They want to be a part of it all. So this is how they kind of do that. They transfer the parades to during the day, and everything's just magical and jolly and awesome.
And and then on top of that, over in Hollywood Studios, right? They have Jellywood Nights.
They do, and didn't that just start? It just kicked off.
Well, it's actually doesn't seem to start until next week.
Thank you for that clarification.
It starts the 9th.
Okay, so the day after, got it.
Yep, November 9th, and then runs through December 21st.
Now, we voted last year, and we knew that they were going to do it again, but hopefully they've cleaned up some things from last year, right?
We will see.
It was kind of a mixed feelings about it all.
We will see, and Molly and I will let you know, because this is a good time as any to tell you we're going to Jollywood Nights.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm just taking the dogs.
Well, before we dive into any more news, I want to mention that travel specialist Nikki did run the Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon today.
And now that's what my apologies in that I thought it was last week when I was on the thing with Heidi, and that's why obviously I was missing Abbie, because she keeps the calendars.
That's true. I keep the calendars, but also I did confuse you because I said that Nikki was running a race last weekend, which she was, but it was locally at one of our aquariums. It wasn't this.
It was in the Magical Minute, and I thought they were talking about this Sunday, which is when the Magical Minute was talked about last week, but not this week, and then it's blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway.
She ran today, and congratulations to Josh. I believe the last name is pronounced Baden, who won the Disney Wine and Dine Half Marathon today. He did the 13.1 miles in 1 hour and 16 minutes.
Oh.
That's pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah, I run faster.
Oh, do you?
I've run faster than that.
Now, he is a Run Disney guy. He's done about 3 races, but he's never done this one before. So that's pretty cool. Good for him. Now, Nikki ran with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's father, and they said it was so hot and the humidity was at like 90% this morning. She said the first 6 miles were, I'm sorry, I'm reading the message backwards. She said that at like the beginning, miles 1 through 6 were like so fun, like characters, fun things. It was through Epcot Boardwalk and Hollywood Studios. She had a blast. Now the final, the 6 miles after were straight highways with no shade, and it just like killed all 3 of them. Pretty much they got to mile 11 and they all agreed that if they were to continue, they were going to like die. They were going to hurt themselves.
I guess that's tough if you're not in that area training for a marathon. For that type of marathon, when you're up here, like she's up here in the Northeast, it's cold, a couple days, but you're not getting that humidity, you're not getting that temperature.
Oh yeah, that's brutal.
So it's tough, like, to be able to train for that.
Yeah, I mean, I just recall, and this was like nowhere near what Nikki was doing today, so I don't want to like like I literally, like, when I lived my first summer living in Florida, I was like, I told the people I lived in the house with who were like had lived in Florida for a couple of years, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk, and it's like July, and they're like, okay. And they just kind of like looked at me weird. And I was just like, that's weird. And so I went outside. I think I made it 4 houses, like 4 houses around the block.
Yeah.
How shameful is that? But it's like the humidity that like kills you. And
it brings us back to our, we had an Airbnb a couple years ago for our vacation. And there was one time where I like refused to go out.
Oh, yeah.
It was like this patio was like, because I wasn't going swimming and I didn't want to go, like, you were just sitting on these, they had like couches outside, but it was like so hot, there was no air. And I was like, I'm not going out there.
He like refused to sit outside with me while I was watching the kids swim. I get it, I guess. I still have feelings about it. So we're going to move on.
Bringing up old memories.
Congratulations, Nikki and fam. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. She's definitely going to enjoy the rest of the week over at Disney. She's got some wonderful plans. I'm really jealous, but also super excited for them.
Yeah.
Now, already there's like all the Christmas stuff at the Grand Floridian. They put up this gingerbread house, and exciting news that coming soon, there's over at Epcot, there's going to be a gingerbread spaceship Earth. Isn't that cool? At Communicore Hall is where it's going to be. So like Disney is known for all of their amazing gingerbread houses. Even Disneyland too has like amazing gingerbread houses, beautiful, detailed, all the things. Now this ball, the Spaceship Earth is going to be,
or the ginger ball.
The ginger ball is going to be 8 feet tall. Like that's pretty awesome. So I'm excited to hear and see that, because I know that they've been trying to like jazz up Communicore Hall and Plaza a little bit, bring people into it, because they built this amazing complex there.
But then most of the time people just like, it's just a meet and greet. Okay, I'll pass.
Yeah. So I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, no, I hope they expand it to other things. I'd like to see a gingerbread Millennium Falcon over in Galaxy's Edge.
Babe, I think that's up to us. I think we need to build the gingerbread Millennium Falcon.
Okay. Well, you and the girls, let me know how that goes.
Kidding. It would be like eaten before even like one part of it was built.
Most of the time when we do gingerbread houses, they put up maybe 3 walls and then they kind of like, this isn't what I expected it to be.
Well, we did do that's a long story. We try.
Yes.
Anyways, so along with like more news around the parks, some permits were put in over for the Dino Land area. We knew it was coming, right? It's starting to happen. The permits were about like demolition of the area to start in January. So this is where it's going to turn into the Tropical Americas. If you have not heard the news, or you've been under some dark rock, or this is your first time listening, which I don't know why it would be your first time.
Why would you pick episode 92 of all?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's their favorite number. You don't know. Don't discriminate. The new area will be inspired by the stories of Encanto and Indiana Jones, and it will represent the northern part of South America and Central America. It's going to be the first area of the park to represent this part of the world. I like it. I like it. So I just thought that was really cool. And I was kind of like getting a little sidetracked, as I always do when I'm doing research. And I was just like, okay, so I saw somewhere else about like Disney, whenever they do these demolitions and stuff, they're really like, they want to focus on conservation and like reusing certain things and, you know, being who Disney is, right? And so I was trying to do some research on that and didn't really generate a whole lot. But what I did generate, which I thought was interesting and wanted to share with you, is that in 2022, Disney created or installed a glass pulverizer.
Oh.
And I feel like we spoke about some of this recently, like within the past couple of months, but didn't really understand the concept. And we didn't talk about the pulverizer. We were talking about the horses. And I'll get back around to what that is.
Now, you're saying a glass pulverizer. That's kind of my nickname around here, is I've broken many a glass in our household.
I guess you could be considered a glass pulverizer.
Yeah, many
but
a
this is a
wine glass.
pulverizer for good. Okay. So they turn recycled glass into sand-like material. So like all that recycled, like think of how many drinks in Epcot you're drinking out of glass, champagne bottles, wine bottles, beer bottles, whatever. All of that glass they can bring over to their glass pulverizer and turn it into, I mean, it's amazing to see the concept of how the sand, like, it's not like glass, like hurts your hands or like, I always think of like fiberglass materials, like how you can't touch it, it itches, hurts. That's not what this is. It's sand-like material. And so this material is then able to be reused and put into the Disney Fort Wilderness Resort to kind of revamp those horse trails. Now, if you've ever been horseback riding, you know that those horses' feet, they can really flatten out trails and they need to be redone quite often. So this is just like a whole regeneration of how they can use materials within the parks and reuse them. Very, very cool.
Yeah, no, it's definitely recycling.
More recently, because this, you know, now we've got all this stuff and they can pulverize up to 2,000 pounds of glass in an hour. So like, what do you do with all that? Well, in my favorite area, which is living with the land, they were able to substitute the materials on the ground, right? Because again, it's a no dirt facility. So the pulverized glass is beginning to be spread across the greenhouse floors to act as a pass through for the multiple daily waterings for the plants. So like if like just the cast members can walk through on it, and it just substitutes as the flooring there in the kind of sand area.
But you can't actually use it as like
it's not. I don't believe it's used as the material for growing. No, but it does. It does ensure that it's functioning. It's still the same functioning ecosystem for the plants to flourish. Right. So we're not bringing in dirt. We're not bringing in anything else. So I just thought it was the most interesting thing ever. I got all this info from a really cool Disney Parks blog post. Just wanted to shout out there. There's definitely more info all about that stuff, but I loved it. I loved kind of getting super sidetracked and hearing all about that.
You're saying you're all about that glass.
I'm all about that glass. Yeah.
No trouble.
So, I don't know. I mean, in more news, we got Festival of the Arts to look forward to after Christmas. So if
after Christmas, we haven't even celebrated Christmas yet.
We haven't. We're going to do a Christmas episode coming up here. But after Christmas, if you're looking for a little getaway, which I think most of us on the East Coast definitely are, or
not me, I'm
the
fine.
Northeast, between January 17th and February 24th, the Festival of the Arts will hit Epcot.
Oh.
And we've been there for that. It's a pretty cool time of year to go.
Lots of paintings and
lots
artists.
of paintings.
Yeah.
They bring back the Paint by Numbers mural, and they have Animation Academy animators all around to teach how to draw Disney characters, artists creating live art all over, and they have the sip, savor, and stroll. So there's, again, it's like a classic in-betweener thing that Epcot does, right? It's like after the Festival of Holidays, before the Flower and Garden. So it's just like a good in-betweener thing to do. I like it.
Hey, support the arts.
Mm-hmm. Always.
We do here.
Oh, we support it too much, in my opinion.
Whoa.
No, just kidding.
We know.
So now, just a smidge of Universal news, and then Rob will take it away with all the wonderful, glorious news details he's
More
got.
news.
News,
and more news?
I know. Is this a boring news episode? I certainly hope not.
What do you mean? You're back. How can it be boring?
I'm back.
I'm just happy. Like, finally. It was 41 minutes of mostly this guy cutting off a 10-year-old.
No.
Yeah. Okay, go.
Okay. So May 22nd, 2025 is the opening date for Epic Universe, right? Mm-hmm. So I've gotten a flood of questions and all sorts of things about this. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people had reservations over at the Terra Luna Hotel, and guess what? They just pushed back their opening date.
Man, they knew they ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, the original scheduled opening was for February 25th, and now it is not going to open until March 25th. Okay. So any reservations that had been taken during that time, they're welcome to push them back to the official opening date of March 25th. They'll accommodate that.
But also, really, what's the point of going to that? Like, you're not, Epic Universe isn't open till May. Mm-hmm. And then you're far away from the other parks.
I think it's just like a fun, it's a media thing, really, honestly. You want to be there during opening and see what's what and get the lay of the land for sure.
I've seen hotels before. Good.
So the other thing is, right now, the news for Epic Universe is that to be able to go to Epic Universe, it has to be a part of a vacation package.
Yes.
They don't have a one-off. And I know that you've probably talked about this before.
We talked about it last week.
All sorts of things. But it is an interesting concept because even with Volcano Bay for a while, it was like you could get, it wasn't a part of the vacation package, but then it was a third day. It was very confusing how to book Volcano Bay for a little while. They didn't want it as a one-off. They wanted it as part of the parks. When you're booking those, you have to make sure you put plus Universal Epic Universe in your booking.
And it's either a 3, 5, or 7 day package.
Yes.
You can pick. And I can't imagine spending 7 days at Universal. Just seems bananas to me.
You know what, though? I don't know. I feel like you could do it.
I mean, you could, but I think you'd be bored. You would really just have to spend half days.
Yes. Okay. So that's where
you're not going to be going from rope drop to close every day.
No, it's a different kind of vacation, and that's true. As a previous pass holder to Universal, I never planned to stay a whole day. I planned to go after dinner and hang out with my friends and go on a few rides. It wasn't like a whole day event ever.
That's a different thing. But if you're on vacation, as a pass holder, you're probably local-ish. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just seems like I just can't imagine it. Spending
all that
7 days. But I get the 3 day thing. I can kind of understand. You're going to Universal, a day for 2 days in Islands of Adventure, Universal proper, and then a day at Epic Universe.
Yeah.
I'd probably want 2 at Epic Universe, maybe just in the beginning.
Yeah.
Even though, we'll have to see.
We will see.
We'll see.
We shall see. I'm looking forward to going at some point just to see. But there's parts of it that, like the dark side, that looks really scary, some of the stuff in there. I'm not sure that our littles will cope.
The dark universe?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, especially that Wolfman coaster.
Yes.
I don't know, that spins. It spins around as it's going. So I don't know.
And apparently it's close to you and it feels like it's right in your feet.
Yeah, the Wolfman as you're going in through that thing.
We'll see.
I like it. So one of the things now is I go around the parks Disney. There's a lot of stuff going on in Disneyland lately.
There is. They've got all the discounts right now and all the, I don't know,
everything.
all the
like
happenings.
Right. So the Premier Pass, which has been a talk of many.
It has been. It just released.
Yeah, just released. Now, the Premier Pass is, again, for those that have blocked out my voice talking about it before, right? We have the Lightning Lane, right? So you have a Lightning Lane single pass, which is just for various rides that are throughout the park that aren't included in the multi-pass. That you could pay one price and you skip the line for just that one ride. There's the Lightning Lane multi-pass, which is now kind of what most people are similar or know about. And that allows you to book multiple rides per day at any park that you've paid for to get through all of that. So you could book multiple rides at one time, but Premier Pass is just you're paying a flat fee and you could walk right onto a ride at any given time. You're not booking anything. You're just you're like,
just
you know
walking.
what?
But it's like just once. You can just
You could do it once and then that's it. Yeah. You can't like re-ride.
I mean, you can if you wait in the regular standby queue.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to skip through unless you're going to pay the additional fees.
So very similar to the Express Pass at Universal.
Very similar to the Express Pass at Universal. And that's where people were they were talking about it, right? So it was Disney had the Fast Pass, which was included in the price of your ticket way back when.
Yes.
And that's how it was. And then it was shortly after that is when Universal brought out the Express Pass, but that was for an additional fee.
Yes.
And then there was like 20 years where it was just Disney just had the Fast Pass and that was it.
Yeah.
Until they brought about this Genie Plus, right? Which was kind of like something that happened after. Oh, wait, because that was that now in my history. I can't even remember anymore. Was that the
it
pandemic?
Was post-COVID. It was like during COVID in that area, like they didn't have anything.
Yeah, there wasn't anything. There was no, they can't, they came out with the Genie Plus. Still, now they were charging a much lower price than the Universal Express Pass. And now we're up to like, you have the option of paying this price to just walk on any ride.
Yes.
And I say walk on, you're still going in the same lines as the Lightning Lane people. It's not like there's a third line where you're just Premier Pass and you're going right to the front of the line. Right. Which, then that might be something different. So they have that. And let's not even talk about Disney World right now because I haven't. But Disneyland, right, has that available. And you could book the Premier Pass like 2 days in advance. And, you could buy it because it's limited. Right. They don't want everybody doing it. And right now it's like it's $400.
Right.
To buy that for the day.
Per person.
Per person, $400. But that does allow you to do both California Adventure and Disneyland.
Yes, which is a huge difference that they're including the two parks.
Yes, because it's a lot different than going to Disney World where it's per park per day.
Right.
I'll talk about a caveat that just came up that I heard about. But anyway, so Disneyland, they had somebody that went to. Now I lost my page. I have two of these. No, what happened? So they had a review on www.dwnt.com. Walt Disney World News Today. What they also do, and they actually went and bought the Premier Pass.
Yes,
and they wanted to see if they can do all 23 rides in one day.
Okay.
So that's how it is. There's 23 Lightning Lane rides, that are available at this given time. There's only certain things like Tiana's Bayou is on virtual queue, so that's not included. Like Haunted Mansion in Disneyland is because they're redoing the queue, so there's no Lightning Lane.
Gotcha.
So that's not included either. Yeah. So they came out to it, right? So if you look at it, there's two parks. If you buy, then there's two parks and there's two rides that aren't included when you buy the multi-pass.
Okay.
What which are it's Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and Radiator Springs Racers. The cars.
And those are the most popular.
If you buy the multi-pass and book those 2 individual Lightning Lane rides, it's $89.
Okay.
The Premier Pass is $400. Right? Now, they said a VIP tour is a lot more than that per person.
Right.
But so they're saying like the Premier Pass is basically an unguided tour, unguided VIP tour, because you get the VIP tour, you're getting on the rides the same.
Interesting. That's an interesting thought. Okay.
So, but it's unguided. You're not getting the guide having you come around. So, but it's $89 to $400 to some other price that, was it like $2,000 a person? I think at one point we looked it up, but I don't remember exactly. So the question of the day was, did this person get onto those rides on all 23 rides?
Right.
The answer is no, they didn't. And I'll tell you why. They got on 22 of 23 rides. They kind of got messed up when they went over. They went back to, I think it's in Disneyland, is the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
So they said one of the things that you can do that it does give you the access to of having this Premier Pass is you can go to indoor rides during the day and the outdoor rides at night.
Oh.
So it helps you avoid the heat.
Okay.
So you're not the hottest part of the day is while the sun's out, and then at night you could go to the outdoor rides. Okay. So that kind of made sense. So they kind of were holding off certain things. The last ride that they were holding off on was the Matterhorn, and it ended up closing early for some reason.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so they were kind of like, oh, man, like I can't even get that, feeling of accomplishment.
Right. Oh, that stinks. So
they had 22 or 22 rides. Now, the question was, is it worth it? And their answer was maybe. Like, they couldn't really give a definite answer. They're saying because they're coming at it from the point of view of they're a Disney, they're a Disney fan. So they go to Disney a lot.
Yeah.
And they're saying if you go to Disney a lot, you're obviously not going to be paying $400 every time you go to Disney.
Right.
And you also are going to, if they're a pass holder or a key holder, you're going there, like you just said, right? You're going there for a couple rides and hang out, talk to your friends or whatever.
Right.
But if you're a person you're visiting Southern California and this is like your one trip, you might never come back there again and you want to experience everything that Disneyland has to offer. Maybe that's part of your budget, right? You're put in $400 so you can get everything, the big stuff done in one day. And maybe if you have a second day in Disneyland, you're kind of doing the other things, like the shows. You're seeing more of the shows and stuff like that are going on.
Now, so question. This Premier Pass, I feel like, is this their answer also to a new DAS Pass system? Like, is this what they're going to say? Like, oh, well, if you didn't qualify for DAS, then you can purchase.
They can't make anybody with
They can't make anybody, but they can definitely be. But this is what we offer.
Like
if you're not staying, let's say.
It's just right like Universal has it. This is like you said, it's the same thing Universal has.
Like right now, though, if they're only offering it to like high tiered resorts, especially over at Disney World, and then they're just like, well, because you didn't qualify for DAS, we can offer this to you instead, kind of thing.
I can't see them ever mixing those two things. It just seems like it's that's like a PR nightmare.
They're really in a PR nightmare, though.
Well, no, I know, but that would be even more. Like, do you believe this? They wouldn't let my kid, who has these diagnosis and dealing with all this, and they were like, well, you could pay $1,600 to get your family of four to skip all those lines.
Yeah,
but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think it was just something they were taking. They were like, hey, Universal's been doing this for years. Why don't we do it and charge a little bit more?
Yeah, a little bit more.
Yeah. So anyway, they looked at it. There were certain rides, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but they were where they basically saved a lot of time going through all these rides. And even on a day in November when it's not that busy, because it's after it's after Halloween, it's before the holidays start. So like things like Indiana Jones Adventure was a 40-minute wait. They waited 15 minutes. Pirates of the Caribbean was only 20 minutes. They waited 4. Look at more popular rides. Guardians of the Galaxy, which was it's called Monsters After Dark, I guess. So maybe this was in October. They have a special overlay.
Yeah.
It was a 100-minute wait. They waited 10 minutes to pre-show, 17 minutes to load.
Okay.
Like I said, Radiator Springs Racers, which is included in the Premier Pass, which isn't in the Multi Pass, right?
Oh,
They waited 2 minutes to get on.
Wow, that's their longest wait time. That's incredible.
Yep. No, absolutely. So it was overall, they said it total time saved was versus what the queue time was at the time they entered the ride versus how long it actually took them to get in. They saved 585 minutes, which equates to 9 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well,
so they're saying like if this is your once in a lifetime trip to Disneyland, or once you're still like, I'm not going to come back here till, for another 10 years, maybe you're putting that in your budget and you're getting it all done.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something to think about to save 10 hours of waiting.
Yeah. I mean, so the reviews over at Disney World though were like very bland. It wasn't like they were like, oh, this is totally worth it. But again, it's all done by people that go to Disney World frequently that are giving the reviews. So it's like they know how to, work the system and be on their app and how to stack things correctly. And so, yeah.
They're saying right now, the most expensive, it's Magic Kingdom's the most expensive. And I think it's $329 at the moment.
Something like it's around there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot. It's a pretty penny.
It does make the multi-pass look more affordable though.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think they're saying like that, right? The highest multi-pass is like $39.
Yeah. And like on average, I think we've seen 32 really be the number one cost.
I agree with you. One of the things I was talking about, the Lightning Lane Premier Pass in Disney World, they found out that it can be modified. So when you book your Premier Pass, if you haven't, because when you book your Premier Pass in Disney World, you have to choose obviously a date and a park, because that's what it's based off of. Excuse me. I get choked up when I talk about Premier Passes. And as long as you haven't yet like checked into the park, as long as your Magic Band hasn't gone through the turnstile, you can modify your Premier Pass. You're not locked in.
Oh, okay.
But you will have to pay if you're going from Animal Kingdom to Magic Kingdom, you will have to pay the price there.
Okay.
But you can change it. It's not like you pick it and you're locked in there.
Okay.
Once you've gone into the park, then you're done.
Okay.
You're not getting anything back. There's no way to change it. But just like a slight way of, where a little bit of leeway. Again, you're paying a ton of money. They should let you do what you want.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. And Disneyland, again, Galaxy's Edge. We need some extra stuff in Disney World. Hollywood Studios needs you to give some nighttime spectaculars.
Yes.
They have in Disneyland, Galaxy's Edge, they have a new nighttime gathering at the Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo.
What?
Which again, I don't know where that is geography of Disneyland, but I know in Disney World, that's the restaurant that like overlooks where the Millennium Falcon is.
Yes.
So that would be amazing. You pay $89. You get it's beer, wine, and food.
Awesome.
And then you get special viewing area of their nighttime spectacular.
Yeah.
That's what we want
Which
over in
looks
Disney
so
World.
good.
It's called Fire of the
They need
Rising
that.
Moons.
Yes. We need that over here on this coast. What's going on? Come on.
See, before I choke to death, what else do we have going on? We have Tron Light Cycle Run, which in Disney World is part of the single Lightning Lane single pass.
Yes.
The pricing is dropping. The single pass has been $20 to $22, but on November 21st, the single pass will just be $19.
Yeah.
Woohoo! You're winning.
I don't know. That's crazy. I mean, you're still paying like $80 just for this one ride, right?
For a family of 4.
Yeah, like that hurts
Just
my
to be able
soul.
to skip the line, yeah.
It's like grocery money, please.
I know. But yeah, you're right. Obviously, one of the other things that have come about is the Jingle Cruise is now in full effect.
Yeah, love
The
it.
overlay is up there. There's all types of Santa hats on all the monkeys and things. And it's a great time.
That's great. I love it.
What else I had? Oh my God.
Don't
Why am I
choke
dying?
over there.
Why am I dying right now?
Getting all worked up over there.
Universal has introduced, they're installing facial recognition cameras at the express lanes.
Okay, so they were working on this back when we went.
Yes.
Don't you recall? Like it was a lot of facial. Like they took our pictures all the time.
But they're not functioning yet.
Yeah. Okay.
None of them are functioning. So they just installed them like at ET at the express lane. Mm-hmm. Now, no one knows. It looks like they're going to be, I don't know if they're going to use the facial recognition as like just a, like that's all you're going to need, or if you're still going to have to show a card that's going to get scanned, and I don't know how that's going to work, but it's something interesting to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
There's a stadium in LA. I don't know exactly what the stadium is, that they no longer require you to have tickets. You know how obviously everyone had paper tickets going back to, you used to have to give a ticket to a ticket guy and he used to rip it and give you half back. Mm-hmm. Now that we all have cell phones, we switched to where they're all in our Apple wallets or Google wallets, whatever they are. And people are just scanning things and you're going about your day. Now, for some reason, they tried to, because even though that's already pretty good, like no one was really complaining like, oh, this takes too long.
Yeah.
So now there's a stadium where it just uses facial recognition as your ticket. What you have to do beforehand, and this is where like people were complaining. This was on a podcast I listened to. It's a comedy podcast called Never Not Funny. And one guy was complaining about it, is that you have to like create an account. You have to scan your face and have it on record with this company that does the facial recognition beforehand. And then go through there. And he was like, fine, all right, it's a kind of a pain, but I'll do it. But you also, if you're bringing your kid who isn't legally allowed to sign up because they're not old enough.
Do it anyway.
So you have to sign up your child as like a child account. And now it's this whole thing. You can't opt out of it. You can be like, I don't want to deal with this and just go about your old way. But
right.
I don't know. It just seems like, why?
Yeah, but like your face changes so much as a child too. So like that's interesting
that's a valid
to think
point.
about.
Yeah,
because I mean, even passports, they only allow child passports for 6 years because your face changes so much. So
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know if Universal's going into something like that where it's just you're going to open an account, your face is going to be on file, and you're just going to use it.
That's right. Go Universal. I like it.
Well, we'll see what happens, but that's basically all the news I have.
I mean, I get it. I like it. Very cool. I missed being with you. I'm so glad I came back today.
Welcome back.
I know.
I see Heidi's listening into No, we thought she's not actually.
Oh, I was like, what? Is she over there?
She's down there. And she's like, oh, I would have said
well,
this.
I mean, I do have to
She's gonna give Abbie notes.
She might. She did such a good job last week. I was so into it.
No, we missed you. We missed you.
Oh, I missed you guys too.
We're happy you're back.
Well, I hope you listeners have the most amazing week, and we'd love to hear from you. So reach out to us, and until then, we'll see you next week.
This has been a Family Travel Planner production.